Welcome to Tap India. We're so happy to have you all with us this afternoon. It's a beautiful day from where I'm joining you, and Bose and Premjish are both joining in from Kerala. For those of you who don't know what Tap India is, Tap is a platform which is a one-stop platform for art in India. We are a group of galleries that have got together. We'll have some institutions and curators join us, and you'll be able to look at a lot of art activities and see a lot of art events that are coming up on this platform. And those of you who would like to be on our mailing list, please register at on the platform. It's called the art platform India.com. And we will put you on our mailing list. So just to give you a little introduction, this is a two-part series of talks on creating cultural geographies and this fantastic exhibition called LOKEME THARAVADU, which has been curated by Bose Krishnamachari. So to introduce our two speakers, Premjish, a lot of you must have been here yesterday and heard the introduction. So I'm making it a short introduction today. Premjish is a curator and art critic who teaches at the Shiv Nadar University, and he has been instrumental in a lot of the art activities at the LOKEME THARAVADU and has worked with the curatorial angle with Bose as well. And Bose Krishnamachari is the founder director of the Kochi Maziris Biennale, and he's the head of the Biennale Foundation. And when the pandemic hit and they had to postpone the Biennale, which had become such a staple in the art calendar in India, and there was a kind of a vacuum, he thought up this fantastic exhibition that we're going to get a glimpse of. And yesterday's talk was talking about all the challenges that they've had and the various ways around it that they found and to keep it going. So I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Over to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I welcome all of you to this live walkthrough, which Bose will lead today in one of the venues of the exhibition, LOKEME THARAVADU, curated at Alappuzha and Ernakulam. And I start with a brief presentation to kind of give you an idea about the spaces which have been transformed for this exhibition. Also, for those of you who don't know, LOKEME THARAVADU, the world is one family, curated by Bose Krishnamachari and organized by the Kochi Biennale Foundation, has been inaugurated on the April 18th. And it could not remain open for more than 2 weeks due to the lockdown, and it had to be temporarily closed down. We reopened the exhibition on the August 14th, and since then it is open for the public, and there is a considerable footfall since then, and also very good reviews and feedback we are getting about the exhibition. And we are also hosting this walkthrough, which because of many people could not travel and see the exhibition. So these are proving to be effective to those who cannot come, and also able to generate a dialogue about the exhibition. So to begin with, the curatorial premise which Bose has selected for this exhibition is called LOKEME THARAVADU, which is based on a poem written by Vallathol Narayana Menon, one of the important modern poets of Kerala. And it was written in 1944 as a tribute to the persona of Mahatma Gandhi. And the phrase LOKEME THARAVADU is translated as the world is one family. And this, on the right hand side, what you're seeing is the curatorial note that was circulated or sent to the artists as the invitation, where the LOKEME THARAVADU is translated into different languages. And this is the only concept note, curatorial note that was sent to the artist. This poem is a classical example of the timelessness of art and literature, or how literature can withstand time, especially the concept of the world as one family appears to be more significant than ever before, considering how the global pandemic is shaping our existence. And moreover, across the world, we are seeing how nationalist jingoism and also sectarian politics have been playing a crucial role in dividing the society. So the exhibition invokes the transformative potential of art and attempts to revive and resurrect the dejected human spirit. So this is the conceptual or the curatorial premise of the exhibition. I would like to give you an overview of the spaces. So almost the 7 venues of the exhibition, except one that is the Darbar Hall Ernakulam, are in Alapura, and most of them are coir factories, warehouses, godowns that are converted into exhibition spaces. And they are also in the process of getting refurbished as museums under the aegis of the Muziris Heritage Project and Alapura Heritage Project, which has been supported by the government of Kerala. So these are some of the venues, and on the right-hand side, what you're seeing is the sea, the beach, and so we have 7 venues in Alapura. So New Model Square Society, William Goodacre, Eastern Produce Company, and Bose is today in the Eastern Produce Company, and the last walkthrough he did was in the Port Museum. I'll quickly show you some images of how the venues were transformed, like when, how they initially looked like, and this is how they were. And you can see the transformation of what has been done to the spaces. So this is the Port Museum. And the production had almost begun in at the end of Jan, and like February it started, and by April almost 90% of the production was complete. Then the COVID lockdown hit, and it had to be temporarily stopped. And despite all the adversities, the COVID and the financial problems, the team had been able to, like, especially Bose's perseverance helped a lot to kind of achieve this very, very like wonderfully designed space. This is the space which we are seeing today, Eastern Produce Company, or popularly known as Alapi Company. This is the courtyard space, and these are the interior spaces. And apart from painting, sculptures, installations, video work, there were also on-site works that were done for the exhibition. This is the William Goodacre and Sons. Most of them are not temperature controlled spaces. They are just spaces that are converted into exhibition purpose. And you can also see the kind of inconsistency in the height of the spaces. Some are really small, and some could be like really like lofty in terms of its height. And these are some of the mural projects which are undertaken by different artists, and they're also very popular by for like in the Alapura circuit. We have also organized some online talks because we could not conduct the physical programs in Alapura, which we had planned. So we had planned a series of academic seminars and cultural programs that had to be now shifted online, but we got some really good participation. So these are some of the visitors and all. So thank you. So this is the kind of gift I wanted to share with all of you. Bose, over to you. Please start the walkthrough, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Premji. Thank you, TAP Gallery team. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to give a walkthrough to one of the venues in Alapi. We have totally 8 venues, just closed academy space in Ernakulam. So we had a total of eight venues spread across 6 lakh square feet of outside and inside of the spaces in Alapi. Almost the 100,000 square feet of wall space exhibition we could find. When I was thinking about this project, it was in 2020. September. We were supposed to have the Binali. Shubhi Rao was supposed to open her biennial on 12th of December. But unfortunately, we had to close it down. I mean, we had to think about postponing it. That's the time, September, the board decided to postpone the show. And postponed to November 1st this year. But unfortunately, the same situation. And we had to push it to next year. We haven't officially announced the date for the next edition, but this will be the 5th edition of the Binali will be curated by same curator, Shubhi Rao. Shubhi already, done her selection of artists' work, and she traveled to 35 countries and selected artists. Her last travel was to Australia for the Sydney Biennale. And immediately after that, I think even Sydney Biennale had to close down and then gone on online. So here it is also, unfortunately, we had to shift it many times. Here we have a private property. When I was looking at the place for exhibition in 2020, by November, December, the idea originated in September, discussed with the foundation, and got the permission to do the show. And then same time, Dr. Thomas Isaac was thinking about introducing or showing Malayali artist projects in Alapi. Dr. Thomas Isaac was former finance minister who really put Kerala in a way. He invested the first seed fund given to the foundation by Dr. Thomas Isaac in 2010-11. That's the time we started thinking about our Biennale. The same person invested in this project. He offered to the foundation 2 CR to make this project happen. And this was pre-election of Assembly election of Kerala. Then he announced it 2 CR in his budget speech. Then, unfortunately, that money definitely will come only after the election and after the government approval, government order. There are a lot of process to get that fund. When it comes to when you work with the government, these are the issues. It is public money. Definitely, we are answerable to everything, each and every penny we spend for this project. So where do this money come from? 4.5 CR. So I connected with a lot of my friends in local areas as well as outside, and some of the friends like Indian Institute of Architects, Indian Institute of Interior Designers, all of them got together. When you talk about this heritage space like in Alapi, you can find many places. Heritage, it used to be factory spaces, godown spaces, and some of them are really articulated well with time in the 20th century. So that's kind of great buildings we can find. This place is known as the Venice of East, one of the oldest places designed only in Kerala. This is the only city being designed in the 1840s or something like that. Anyway, we have this EPC, Eastern Produce Company, owned by Mrs. Betty Curran and her family. Mrs. Betty Curran, when I talk about this collector, she's been traveled to 138 countries. When I met her last time, she mentioned to me just before looking for a space, larger spaces for exhibiting these 267 Keralite artists from around the world. So government promised some of the properties, which some of the properties I could not get it on time. So I was looking for new spaces, and Mrs. Betty Curran, her museum is called Ravi Karunakaran Museum in Alapi. You should check it out whenever you're traveling in this part of town. So here it is, Vivek and Ashok Venugopal given me these two properties. One is William Goodacre and Eastern Produce Company. I will go through the spaces. It used to be a kind of factory spaces, a lot of equipment and machineries were kept inside. Everything was moved in 5 days' time and cleared it for us to make this space much, an exhibition design. I could start thinking about it from that point of view. So we'll get into this gallery space. First, when you enter this, you see A.D. Doji's photographs. It's a kind of, he's done quite a lot of projects on, biographical, documentative projects in his career. So this is one of the Machu Reviewers life, a writer's life, he etched in his camera. When you see this small maquette, this model is designed by me, and it is made by my artist friend, under George and Krishnadas. So this place was actually it's a structure it's covered with this false walls or fake wall, we can call it. There is a lot of steel structures we created. This is almost like a 15 feet high ceiling space. The ceiling, when you look at it, is around 24 feet high, and it's a kind of basalt mangrove tiles put on. Two point 5% of humidity. So you can imagine how it can be installed in such places. So here it is. You can see, you can show it straight, not in perspective. So this is a kind of, and Kerala is also known for writers community. Quite a lot of incredible writers you can find, and they come together. I know I'm also part of one of these right now. It's called Nyachuvela. So writers and filmmakers, some of the friends, they come together and have always they have a kind of community building nature. They have it here. This work is by Jayasri lives and works in Trichur district. There are more than 600 factories, there's tile factories. Out of that, I mean, over Kerala, and most of them are demolished and, created houses, paddy field and things like that. So it's kind of her own ways of looking at these places as she created these drawings and paintings. And you can show this Jita Kartikeyan. Jita is based out of Coimbatore. She's done a large scale paintings to her writings at a kind of assemblage, then works on canvas.
Sorry, Bose, do you want to use both of your earpods?
Sorry, can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, okay. So Jida herself, she's also a writer. She's been writing columns for the Indian Express and also curated few shows in Chennai. A young practitioner based out of Coimbatore. So next row, we'll get into a Chennai artist project. And most of my friends, when they came into this place, they really scared. Suddenly you find the two people standing or sitting, and this is George Kurula's sculpture, and it's we could find a niche for this space. And I was looking at these places, how can be accommodated in such places, like the scale is also important when you place a sculpture or a painting. And I really believe in design. I really believe in the scenography of how this, a human movement, kind of more fluid manner to walk around. So here it is canvas, actually digitally, and also hand painted, and there are photographs. So these artists, like most of these artists, really works started from paintings to sculpture to installations and photography and George Kurulas. And we are also given some kind of notes about their each and everyone's practice. Normally, I don't really like to give up, give on these kind of details, but it is showing it in the first time kind of place, in Alapi, many people doesn't know what is contemporary art, contemporary spaces, and it shows it in parallel to that work. So, so here it is, you can see P.K. Sadanandan. P.K. Sadanandan is a mural artist. Actually, he studied traditional mural making, and he lives in Trichy. He was also part of Sudarshan Shetty's Biennial in 2016. So he made a huge mural and using traditional material, and created that mural in 6 months' time with a couple of his assistants, artists. So here it is, he had taken a poem or writing by Sachidanandan. Sachidanandan is an eminent writer in English and in Malayalam. Sachi's work is taken and used to this traditional way of painting, but like he created his own language in art making. So he produces six large scale paintings for this exhibition, specially created for this project. Right hand side, I have two artists. One is juxtaposed with Sadanandan's work, and you see Sanam Narayan. Sanam works in Ernakulam. He got a lovely studio, a spacious space. He created these drawings and paintings. Also used a certain kind of materials to give some kind of texture to the canvas. And there is a kind of, when we look at some of the artists in Kerala, you could find the landscape definitely, or, the homescape, you can call it, the surroundings of your home, the temple culture, many sociological aspects are reflected in their drawings and paintings. So Sanam, even especially architecture, when we look at Kerala architecture, it's kind of Basel machinery is actually given importance to make tiles, and especially from Mangalore area, it came to Kerala and Malabar area to, you can find that in Trichy a lot. It's very sensitive when we look at it very closely. That is one of the reasons I always feel that it won't give justice to show it in online, but you get an idea about how the space is created for this exhibition. And I feel when I show this, I'm sure you will be tempted to come and see this project. And there are today I will be showing maybe 15 to 18% of the space. So you can imagine how big is this project. We have 37 artists projects are in this location. This is called Eastern Produce Company. And when I was inviting artists, I suggested them, you think about as a solo project or a semi-solo project of your career. And that's how some of the artists really produced special work for this exhibition, almost like a solo project. Here it is, I met this artist, Bonnie KR. Bonnie lives and works in Kochi, Fort Kochi area. And I met him during the time of my good relationship with Kachi Art Cafe and Kachi Art Gallery. In 2003 onwards, I met Bonnie. He used to come with his camera. He used to take all the kind of, archiving for Kashi and things like that. These photographs are a kind of accumulation conceptually prepared to take photographs of photographers, place, it's their studio itself. There is no studio representation, but it is taken it in their own studios. And all these people are working in Cochin part of town. And you see the other side of this place, you can find the Basan, the Peringod, young artist, very young artist from Kerala. Lives in now, he lives in Ernakulam side, but coming from northern part of Kerala. So he's prolific, I've been looking at his drawings, hundreds of drawings he showed to me, like with his partner. He brought all his, this is one of the artists I could not go to see his studio, but he brought almost everything, a truckload of almost his card full of drawings and paintings. So I really like the way this artist, like there is kind of a poetic way. There is a kind of simplicity or action, knowing the site and produce these projects. This is factory places, dilapidated places. And in a way, there is a darker side to it. And there is a kind of, so that prolific nature, I thought it would be better to come together. It's all individual works, so artists given me the freedom to install the way I would like to do. I mean, I haven't found any problem when I install these projects, and everybody felt it's, and I really believe in how you produce place an artwork. It is always an important aspect when you're placing an artwork. How much negative space, how much positive space you are giving to, how much breathing space you are giving to the viewer and the people who come to see it. It's not just for the curator or not just for the artist perspective. I look at it. I look at it through the people's eye. The next room is a small room with the two artists' works, Anil Janardhanan. And when I talk about these projects, it is not narrated project. It is not narratively curated. I don't want to call it as a kind of curated project. I would say assembled or organized show or something like that. That's what I would like to say. Anil Janardhanan, I met him long time ago. He's a vagabond. He was in Italy. He was in now he lives in Tamil Nadu. What's the place? It's called Dindigul. Dindigul. So anyway, he loves this hermetic life, so that he can see Himalayas, he can see the lifestyle he having it, and which is reflected in his drawings and paintings. There are few works by Vishadi, one of the youngest artists working in this project, watercolor and gauche kind of spaces she created. You can you should show it to close with some of the works. And while I was traveling into, during this time of, as I mentioned, the idea of having a project originated in 2020 September. But my travel, when I was thinking about this project, I had only 140 artists in my list. If here you see, so 140 artists to 267 now. It's kind of explored nook and corners of places in Kerala. I traveled during the time of it was in October, November, December, those period of time, and I traveled to northern part of Kerala, Kannur to Trivandrum. So I met a lot of interesting people who some of the artists had never shown in their life. Some of the artists are really working under pressure, someone is working at their kitchen, someone is working, so, their drawings and works are kept under, in their own bedrooms. There's not much places to work. A few artists in Kerala, artists got larger scale spaces, to make it, so I met, more than I think 180 artists, old artists are working in Kerala, and most of them got smaller spaces. This is the same case with when I think about the 80s, when I used to visit a lot of Mumbai artist studios. We spent a lot of time with Nelly Babai or Akbar, Lakshman, Syed, also Prabha Bharvi, Kolchi, all of them, in those spaces, when we look at the present, some of the studio spaces also kept on changing, and, but still people worked with that, whatever available they have it. Here, this you can see the works of Girishan, but at the party itself, thought, he's been working for a long time, and he also started his own little space near Trishur as an exhibition space for artist work. Um, we have Baiju Patton here. He's done this three-dimensional lenticular prints, especially studied lenticular creating technology, or the how you can get these kind of effects. Of course, technology can help you. Technologists can help an artist, but this association is an incredible illustrator, painter, whom I met during my school days in JG. So since then, I've been watching his Times of India drawings onwards to paintings onwards, or his illustrations. Here you see the three-dimensional imageries brought together, ideas brought together, created a wonderful lenticulars. So these spaces, all, if you can have a fantastic gallery space, if it is weather controlled, nothing like it, and you can look at the floor, you can just show this. This is also, it can be, these places can be revived through the heritage project. The museums are coming up through the vision of Dr. Thomas Isaac and the state. So this is a project supported by tourism department. As you know, Dr. V. Venu, he was the Director General of the National Museum a few years ago. He's the same person when we started the Biennale in 2011. I met in 2010. I met, and then he was also tourism secretary and culture secretary. That's the time we had this. So there are, and he himself is also a theater person. So there are people, not only political figures, there are bureaucrats also really into contemporary culture and performances and things like that, which will definitely help us to share what we believe in it. So these places also can become one of the most important. I mean, you can create this as an art city. You can create this as a kind of creative city. So UNESCO should also look at this, or maybe the state should approach UNESCO to look at that kind of. And there are places you can make it as a kind of studio spaces as well. So I'm saying there are possibilities in. It was a silent town. Now there is a kind of festival. It is known for its backwaters. Of course, there are beautiful, if you want to have a water body travel, I mean, it's just really one of the finest places to come in. And here it is, you can see Reddy's team's work. Reddy represents Chandani and Stein group, very detailed, some of the studies, and his always you can find each work you can find some kind of um, real narrative comes from the day to day, or the memories of grandpas and grandmas stories. And here it is the reflection. This work is definitely a reflection of the time of the COVID. He created this work during the time of the COVID, and at home alone, and he's having the freedom of being naked, and also the skin differences. You can see it in some of his work. Here it is the detail of this is oil on canvas. I'm really scared to show oil on canvas in Kerala. As I mentioned in the beginning, this place has real humid issues. And George Martin. George Martin's work, one of the last people I have picked up for this exhibition. And I've seen this drawing, really sensitive drawing with it's kind of early years, we used to use shell park ink. That's kind of, there is kind of abstraction at the same time. There is that line created beautiful drawing. And also here it is, when you look at it, it is totally, it looks like really abstract stuff. But what he's done is, he was writing in Malayalam some words, and the words were running, or the script was running, or the alphabet was improving or jumping, or creating its own roads, and that running of or moving of that, the letters created these paintings. So the same thing here. If you come closer, you can read some script here, So it's a kind of, there is a kind of surrealism, there is a kind of abstraction, there is another meaning to it, there is a conceptualism. So all these kind of mixture of things you could find it in this. And of course this kind of fauna kind of thing created with the words, and so you got the 5 works here, large scale drawings, really beautiful, sensitive. So coming back through to the same place, you see young artist Jaya, PS, Jaya and Jalaja. You must be familiar with most of the Jalaja is a really young, brilliant artist. Her sister, she's also a performance artist, and very feministic in nature. Most of their projects you can see these portraits are herself. Some of them are her friends, and live together, works together, kind of jamming music with friends, architects, and friends like this. So herself is kind of challenging living and working in Kerala, where there are a lot of inner complexities are reflected and performed, critiqued. All those things you can find it in Jaya's work. So here it is, another artist, Manoj Vailur. Manoj has been teaching art for a long time in different schools in Kerala, art colleges in Kerala. Now he's the principal of Trivandrum Fine Arts College. He's really a thinking mind, very encouraging with young generation of art makers and artists. And also you can see his drawings and paintings and imagery making. This artist, both the sides, when this is a kind of pathway, I wanted to create it for another artist as well here. When you look at the last space, there's this Vipin Dhanuttaran. Here he's by a Kannur Telicheri-based artist, Harindran Chalad. Most of his work, he works with his palm, his hand, and that you can see it in his small paperwork as well. There is abstraction, there is imageries, we can imagine imageries within the abstract space itself, like water bodies to, boats to all those kind of imageries when you think about it. But, I take it as a kind of fluid way of working without much, planned kind of perform. It is a kind of performance, when I look at it, he used nails, he used his fingers and palm to make these kind of drawings and paintings. It's another very dedicated artist, lives and works in Trishur and Ernakulam. So he created this, when we talk about multi-cuisine, Kerala is known for its, you can find hundreds of different kinds of varieties of food in Kerala. So he's created all these works on canvas. Can you come closer and show all these, please? Now, the left-hand side, look, can you just show the right-hand side of this building, please? Yes. So this was a place like this, almost like this, dilapidated, the factory things, and we have created these walls to, install this. It's a temporary space, but like the owners can think about a new museum or new gallery spaces. I think I would like to talk about, can you come here, please? This artist, young Vipin Dhanurdhanan, was a volunteer at the Kochi Biennale Foundation since the inception. And the first year onwards, this is the kind of memory of that, in a way, that train run over 16 people during the time of the lockdown. The migrant workers traveled, and he casted some text on these floors and these ribs of this rail tracks. Close your eyes, keep your arms at your side, your palms facing up, legs should be separated. Breath naturally. Become aware of your surroundings, just relax, breath deeply and slowly, breath in, breath out. And you see, during his travel, he traveled from Kerala to Madhya Pradesh, met all these people who passed away, their home. He had visited and taken a documentary, or you can see the life itself. He transformed into a video work, which is 80 minutes long. 80 minutes long project. I just show a snippet of it, and so that. So he traveled from Kerala and then gone to Aurangabad, Mumbai, and Madhya Pradesh. So it's, I think, Nirvesh Singh Gond, village Antoli. So he's talking about, so it's a kind of testimonies, and this is really sensitive project, like really a political critique on the present situation. So can you show this entire space, please? When I was thinking about this place, I really wondered, this is an open space, and outside there is a factory. This was the kind of left side. This was the place we came out, And the open spaces, I wanted to enclose it and make a small space for gathering, small place where we could have theater performance, we could have poetry reading, all those wanted to have a small cafe in the back of this tree, and then that's how it is being conceptualized. But unfortunately, we can still do smaller programs. I feel that like small music jamming and all those kind of things. I really like this kind of atmosphere created for art making, community building, coming together, those things. So here it is, Rajan KP is known as Shilpi Rajan. He's a self-taught guy, consistently working at home with different kind of materials, paintings, sculpting in different mediums, and you can see a lot of sculptures kept under the tree. These riffs are created for the exhibition. Not it was not existing in this area. And also these floors, like how you create a muddy space into a kind of. So I put this growl as a kind of supporting element, or supporting design element, material element for making this space. This artist, unfortunately, this is quite a lot of reflections when it comes to darker space. I was here last night, it was 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. It was so beautiful in that dark light, his work and the surrounding. I wish we had this 24 by 7 exhibition spaces. Vincent Fukui is from Alapi artist. He's done some fantastic installation works at the sea face, which I have seen it, and I told him to remake it. That's the time the pandemic really gone up. And then, so he showed some of his drawings, and really, can you show from here, please? It's really in the 80s, the narrative school, when we look at, you know, yep. Sunil Ashokapuram has done a lot of drawings and paintings. I visited his Calicut studio home, and look, and especially created these works for this exhibition. Um, and a prolific artist. The same with Shinoj Akaraparambil. Shinoj works with the Times of India, and he's done hundreds and thousands of drawings. I mean, like I would say thousands of drawings. Out of that, picked up these wash sculpted. We can see almost like a sculpted spaces, small spaces. This become abstracted with a lot of imageries, birds and human beings, and the kind of surreal again turned out to be abstract and beautifully done by this artist. I find it, like what is lacking in our country and our spaces is spaces for exhibiting artwork. Unfortunately, in Kerala, we don't have much gallery spaces, weather controlled spaces or anyway, any kind of spaces where we can exhibit our projects. I found diversity, that's the most important thing I felt when while I was traveling in Kerala. Diversity in its ultimate manner, I can say. As I mentioned yesterday, like I could find really fantastic arte povera works to conceptual works to surreal, magical realism, minimalism to postmodern, all kinds of schools. In this, that I don't find it in many of the, you know, states when I travel. Whenever I travel and research, I never found these kind of diversity. So that diversity is one of the most important aspects I really enjoy in these projects. This is Shashi, K.K. Shashi. He was a professor at Trichy Fine Arts College. He was an inspiring teacher. These works are inspired from Kerala murals, I find it, and he lives and works in Thrissur district. Can we go a little faster, please? And so here, these places, imagine these places as cafeteria, and then you just get into see some of the drawings and paintings. And here it is, an Alapi boy painted these um, canvases. You know, it is all digitally printed, these ones digitally printed and painted over, and you can transferred the images on, it is on canvas, created these little ones. And the photographed in Alapi spaces itself. This is, for example, this is Alapi's old bridge, which you can still see. Uh, so that's a canvas. And his work is, his few works are in port museums as well. Some of the work is works shown in that multiple spaces. So, um, so on your return, you see the right-hand side of your return travel from the space to K.K. Mohammed. K.K. Mohammed was a long time he was living and working from Baroda and different cities in India, and now based in Calicut, used the canvases and painted on wood, sculpted on wood. He is also a printmaker. You can see that kind of details in these works. So when you look at these floors, it was kind of uneven spaces. So how you can make it, embellish it, or make use this place as a kind of interestingly designed space. It is like this all look like almost like a carpet, and it's a great carpet for me. And this is Ramu Aravindan. It's amazing photographs. And he studied abroad. Back now he lives and works in Bangalore. And his father, legendary filmmaker Aravindan, and he's also that kind of same kind of nature in a way. This kind of serenity, kind of a lovely nature of working, and that artists themselves reflect in their projects. Here it is Hariharan Subramaniam. Hariharan writes a lot of readings have been looking at it. And also it's a lot of, you can see this kind of multiplied images he's been created in his, all its performative. In a way, these places are actually created as performative spaces, kind of multiplied spaces. The kind of, it is digitally printed, and it's very good photographer using traditional performative elements in creating his spaces. You can see a lot of familiarity with this, Theyyam, temple rituals, all those kind of stuff. So this place was a kind of open space from left to right. So I thought I'll create niche for each and every artist. And here it is the young artist Sitara Anukaran. Anukaran is drawing. She just passed out of college and created some lovely drawings and paintings. And his family, day to day, even when we look at it with some nostalgia, you could find this landscape or, home spaces or family. Pepper is one of the most interesting things, and only pepper plants, and like this, you can call it this. It's a print things created by this artist. And this Ranjit Raman used textile as its medium, intricate stitching and weaving. It's about, we have about 20 works here, and you can see the small places. Can you just close to all the works, please? I couldn't go. And I wanted to say these lights in these places. It's not a design lights, but it's a support comes from Bajaj Electricals. Really simple. I mean, how you can minimalistically look at these kind of places and create an exhibition design with little lights. And it is a wonderful work by Hindu Anthony. He is based out of Bangalore. You have to be really close to see her work in these hanging installed projects with the text written with with her hair. It's really beautiful, very sensitive, and like the portraits. Um, there is a kind of simplicity, and yet it is complete with the project. And she also produced a book with memoirs and everyday writing. Now, so you can just move around and see these writings, handwritten stuff. Also, um, yeah, so it's beautiful. This first language is both of command was the suggestion of the need for physical intimacy. Things like that. So kind of memories and Chief Jairam is professor at Amrita College. I met him when 80s when I was studying at Kalapidam. Kerala Kalapidam played an important role in Kerala culture building. That place used to have a lot of readings, a lot of theatre people, musicians, painters, sculptors, filmmakers used to come and they used to perform or read. They used to, even I remember listening to Nitya Chaitanya Yadi and his philosophy of life. And I remember, Sarana Prabhu brought Bengal art to Kerala Kalapidam. Ganesh finds little drawings. Remember. Beautiful works I remember in the 80s and 90s. So these, if you look at it closely, so these intricate, it's kind of gauche work done by this young artist, Sujil. Sujil is from Palakkad, and there are two large works and 14 over, 13 small works. Really beautifully created by this young artist. So this is all collectible works, like it's not like in Denali, we don't sell any work. Here it is, everything is for sale. If you are interested, please inform Sharon, our friends, or inform us. We will help you to get that opportunity to collect. Grace Joseph works with the Kochi Binale Foundation as educator in many ways. It started as a kind of, we have a vertical called ABC, like Students Binale. Now still you can see it in our website, Students Binale online exhibition curated by 5 brilliant artists, curators. Here he used clay to make portraits of family things, his mother and himself in paper. And he's a social critique, a political critique, and work very much with the communities. Namrata Bachao, onwards, many issues he's interested in. Anyway, the last project he worked with the Binali is called Learning at Home with children and family. That was an online project introduced by the Kochi Binala Foundation. It was running beautifully for children and supported by some of the friends. Otherwise, we cannot sustain it. So with this, the last work of it, so you can show that in their space, light, and we have a couple of artist works more to see in this walkthrough. I have 37 artists, as I mentioned, 37 artists in these plays. Altogether, 267 artists. And this is one of the plays. Artists. We have 7 spaces in Alapi and 600,000 square feet of exhibition area outside and inside of the land. So 2 square kilometer area, you could find this exhibition. If you walk around, slowly, you can finish that in 2 days. Otherwise, if you really want to see all the video works, we have 20 video projects in this whole exhibition, and then sculptures, installation, new media, photography, printmaking, painting, so augmented reality till then you can see it. So this is a very, you have to be really close with this gouache painting by brilliant work by Shaji Apukutin. We got about 6 to 8 works here. It's on canvas, gouache again. You can come a little closer, you can show the details. And then these artists use not only the skill to paint, but at the same time they have this idea to that leave that skill and create wonderful new landscape in their life, new faces in their creativity. You can find it. The last work in this walkthrough is done by artist Madhu Venugopal. His spiritual life, when you look at his family, his wife and himself, whenever they come to my exhibition or travel, being to his studio, a very spiritual life he guided, and it is reflected in his works as well. This one, oil on canvas, beautifully painted, and one of my favorites, really, really beautiful drawing done by. There are 3 drawings on, I think it's, what's its paper? Chinese rice paper, right? Rice paper, right. It's beautiful. Can you come closer, please? So, thank you so much. And now, oh, sorry, I didn't talk about Nanda Kumar. It's the largest work in this place. This installation was done, one of the first installations done on site. Nanda Kumar lives and works in Missouri. He used to teach in Mahindra World School in Pune and moved to, a few years ago, he's moved to Missouri and he's teaching there. So he installed this work without any complaint. He came and created this interesting installation. And this is the second work by him. And you can see the details. It's almost like a temple. It's kind of architecturally created. Can you bring it down? So you can, if you have any questions, please go ahead. Are you there?
Bose, you've got lots of compliments. There are very few questions. I think everybody wants to know how to come there. So
you can come. It's wonderful. There is no problem. I was in Bombay a few days ago. I brought my family here, and it depends on you. And here everything is safe. But like you can see the number when you look at the number. I think Kerala is the only place. Every day testing and giving the numbers out properly, diligently. maybe because of that reason you feel it like that. I really say that, it's an Alapi. My family also lives now here, and we're going in a few days, after 2 days. So I think it, I don't want to say it is a risky place to go or something like that, but I welcome all of you to come and see the show. And it is really, really, you can spend good time here in Alapi. A lot of places to go. And backward is not yet open, but I heard that the beaches and backwaters will be open very soon as well. And this show is extended to until it was until September 30th, but the state tourism director and tourism secretary visited, and the tourism minister reopened this space, and they felt it was an important project to sustain for a little bit more time, and then they extended the show until 30th of November. With the state's help, I could do this project, and with my small team, I really wanted to see local public, really, especially the panchayat and municipality, and uh, Dr. Thomas Isaac and his team, Naushad and his Muslim Heritage Foundation team, and Benny Kuriakos, many names, and artist friends. All of them came together, support. When morally support is there, then you can produce anything physical. So that strength is come from friends, come from all around. I would say, yeah, look at you, Sharon. Your team given me this opportunity to talk to your other galleries. You were all coming together to build uh, new ways of living and showing art. And I'm always interested in the physical project. Um, so here it is. With that note, yeah, if there is anything else, please go ahead with your question.
This has been brilliant. Thank you. Prinjish, do you want to add anything?
Nothing as such. Nothing as such. If there are any questions that need to be answered, we will be happy.
I think there are lots of compliments.
Yeah.
There are many compliments. And thank you both for giving us this opportunity to see this. Both, this is a magnet for us to all come there and see the rest of it. Because if there are 200 odd artists and we've seen only 30 odd artists, then we better get there very quickly. It's been lovely. Thank you. It's really an eye opener when you look at the way you've handled the challenges, put this together. And I think the time has come for all of us to look at spaces and not look at these pristine white spaces and think, oh, this is not a gallery space, but actually repurpose spaces as you have done over here and shown us beautifully, and be able to, bring the energy into different spaces all over the country. Because I think we have so many artists. You're talking about artists from Kerala working in Missouri, people obviously working in Bombay and Delhi. And it's amazing. There are artists everywhere. I think we need to find a way to
I had 15
invigorate
countries participated in this show. 15 countries, artists from 15 countries. All of them. Of course, we are also, I was thinking when I started curating, the first curatorial work was asked by Akbar Padamsi, and I have selected 5 artists in my list. Unfortunately, I could not do the first show, but I have this 5 artists. One artist committed suicide, Girish Tehiwale, and others were, like artists like Anand Joshi and Shilpa Gupta and others. Anyway, so I think it is believe in all kinds of practitioners, younger generation. I was really fortunate to meet up with a lot of senior artists in my life, spend a lot of time with them. With that note, my first show was curated about Mumbai Plus. It was called Bombay by 70. So with I'm also interested in doing a larger project in Mumbai. I also initiated that talk. I don't want to curate the project. I was thinking of inviting some other curators to uh, make it happen in Mumbai. Maybe by next year. Let's see. That may be it may not be Benali Foundation's project, but this is definitely with the help of the foundation, with the help of the state government. I could do it. Still waiting for Godot to come. Still waiting for Godot to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very much for joining us. And thank you, gentlemen, for giving us this wonderful afternoon with this lovely walkthrough. Thank you and see you all soon.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye. 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 Bye.